You know, the bikes on the street is always a little bit of a concern for seniors and things like that. I guess they try to control it somewhat as best they can. However, it's a concern.
I am someone who walks to work every day. I live in West Philly and I work at Penn, so I am kind of interested in hearing about things like bump outs or just ways that streets can be safer for pedestrians.
So two things, I know both are kind of on the docket for upcoming projects. One is moving away from tokens on SEPTA.
I have 2 children, and so I'm often traveling on public transportation. That's a challenge, but I often travel on public transportation with my children.
I think what makes a successful city is the ability for everybody to get around, to work, home, to everything, and safely too. There's a lot of talk about, Vision Zero and complete streets right now. I think we're at a point where I think everybody's starting to agree that we want safety for everybody, not just motorists.
I guess I'm mostly a pedestrian in the city, so like crosswalks and safety like that. I feel like I'm a lot of times being cut off by cars when I have the green light and they're turning and they don't seem to recognize that I have the right of way.
I commute down on my bike to right by the airport from Northern Liberties every day, and it's a hassle getting down there, not only just time consuming, but dealing with traffic and limited options as far as where I can bike when I get down to Southwest Philly.
Well, I mostly walk around town. I do a combination of walking and the bus to and from work, although I just did the bike share here.
I think like a lot of people, we're not specifically just bikers, walkers, or drivers. We're all three. I drive my car around the city, I bike around the city, and I also like walking around the city.
And the second thing is moving toward Vision Zero. Mainly for my bike. I got hit a few weeks ago on Spring Garden. I'm okay, but I just think that if Spring Garden there was better signage and better kind of buffered bike lanes, I think that maybe that accident could have been avoided.
Drivers not yielding to pedestrians in the crosswalk, lack of crosswalks, those kinds of things in terms of safe crossings would be probably my #1 issue.
The curb cuts seem to be pretty good around the center city area. Naturally, they try to keep after the potholes in the street as we're crossing, too, so that's important to us.
We do have a car, so we use the car as well, but I don't want a second car. I don't think we need a second car.
But I'm also like way too scared to bike in the city currently, but I'm interested to hear about changes to biking policy that might make me feel safer biking to and from work or just around the city.
When I'm biking, I get really pissed off at the drivers and the walkers, and when I'm walking, I'm like, why can't everybody be walking like me?
Traffic of all forms can integrate together and find a happy medium between different modes.
I'm interested in hearing how we as a city can negotiate road space. I know there's a lot of thin streets in Philadelphia. There's a lot of arguments over parking. I think that we struggle to have infrastructure for everybody, and everyone's fighting over that same road space.
While they both walk, one of my children does not like to walk.
I drive, I take SEPTA, I bike, whatever works best.
One child does not like to walk, and she also has a kind of low stamina for walking, so I have to take a stroller for her. And so my travel is built around, when we're traveling, those accessible stations. I don't get off in any station if it's not wheelchair accessible. Otherwise, it's a very, very burdensome to carry her or have her walk and also carry a stroller as well, because I have to use a bigger stroller.
I definitely think there should be more enforcement by the police. It seems like the police turn a blind eye to traffic violations because they don't view it as a serious crime.
I just kind of feel like everyone I know who bikes has had at least one pretty bad accident in their time biking, and I am nervous for that to be me if I start biking.
So in looking at the streets for planning for transportation and moving citizens, how do we use it so that all of the citizens from our youngest to our oldest can enjoy the streets and have recreation as well?